It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 822. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email me questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. Don't forget to visit the main YouTube page for all the videos from the shows, and that's youtube.com/Michael Smith MTS. And please don't forget to click subscribe to help me get the subscriptions up. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call. Remotely support your customers. If you are an IT pro or an MSP, this is what you need for unattended, on-demand remote access for your clients. You'll love it. You can try it free by clicking on the link on my website at miketechshow.com. Use the promo code MikeTechShow for your free 15-day trial, or you can go directly to instanthousecall.com. The beta version is being worked out and tested. Lots of great features. You're going to want to have this for your remote support. The show is also brought to you by Instant House Call. Remotely back up everything. This is the ultimate online backup service. And when I say remotely, something I don't talk about a lot. You have a dashboard where you can manage all of the backups that you have set up. You have one pane of glass that you can log into from a browser, and I can change backups. I can do a restore and push it without even remoting into the client. You want to check it out, and you definitely want to sign up before the end of this month, because all new partners will get their first 3 months free. That's right. All new partners. And if you're an existing partner, there's a code that you can send that you'll get 3 free months of your platform fee. So that is very, very cool. Make sure you mention that you've heard them on the Mike Tech Show, and you definitely got to sign up. At least go to magnusbox.com and check out the demo. You're going to get all of the same features that paying partners are using right now. So nothing's limited on the demo. You get to kick the tires and see how this works in action. Great online backup service, Magnusbox. Become a partner. Okay, great show lined up for tonight. Starting early because I have a lot of work tonight. And not only that, and I want to make sure I get this edited and posted up, a very early start time tomorrow. I'm getting up extremely early. I got a contractor coming here to finish off things in my office, and I got 2 Zoom calls early in the morning. So busy, and I figured, okay, I'm ready. Let me start early tonight. So first, I'm going to give you a quick medical update on my foot. We got a couple Mac stories. I had to help a client empty her Mac mail, and I'm actually going to demonstrate what I did by remoting in to my MacBook. I want to also demonstrate a MacBook add-on, Netflix hacks, and some protection from data brokers and what they're doing. And I got a great link to a show that's also available on YouTube that you just got to see this, and it's very scary. And then I have a stack of email, and I'm going to do my best to get to them. So first, I had an appointment on Tuesday to see a podiatrist that has an x-ray. So brand new podiatrist down here. And for those of you who don't know, in 2018 of May, I broke my left foot, and it's a Jones fracture. And with 6 months wearing a boot nonstop, we went a year, and it wasn't healing. It just I was doing everything, just not healing, and it was still a problem walking. And then there was surgery that was scheduled. Then that was canceled. Then all of a sudden, the pandemic. So I let it go. Now, it's been feeling very, very good, but I didn't know, did it heal correctly? Well, it healed perfectly. The x-ray, when they showed me the x-ray, it was just, I was blown away. It just took a long time, but it eventually healed, and it healed correctly. So now, there's still some other minor issues that I've had with my feet. I need custom inserts. So they took the molds of my feet, and what they're doing is it's already ordered. They're going to modify it slightly because there's a condition my feet have that I never knew, and where the bones kind of move in a certain way, and it actually caused that fracture on my foot. Moral of the story, if you have any kind of a foot issue, go see a good podiatrist. Go look at the reviews, and go to a good doctor, one that is capable, and most of them now have x-ray capability, and see what you need done. So there's a couple things that you're able to easily take care of. So in a couple weeks, I go back, and now I'm going to have inserts that I'm going to wear, but it's also going to help me walk, so this will not reoccur, because it seems like the condition I have that I never knew with my feet causes multiple Jones fractures just walking, just everyday walking, not doing anything. So, great to learn that, and very, very happy. Something else, went to an eye doctor this week, and I'm getting prescription reading glasses. So the glasses are going to change a little bit for reading. Now, you know what? We're going to keep doing some updates, and the lighting is going to look a little different if you're watching the video of this. I now have a 10-inch ring light on a tripod behind the center monitor. I used to have a strip that was an LED light, a solid light that went across all the monitors and pointed back to the wall, which I really liked, but that has to go because of a painting that's being hung on my upper left side of where I'm pointing. And because of that, I had to reevaluate what the lighting is, and these inexpensive ring lights are very, very good. And I have a little control that I can make this brighter. I can change the tone. So very, very happy with that. So the first story, my Mac client, who's a photographer, well, she has a MacBook that the problem with the MacBook is that she's running out of space. It's really, really, really bad. And her Mac Mail was taking up 88 gigs. And she only has like 256 gig. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate what I did. So what you're seeing now is my MacBook Pro, which is, you can't see it. It's further down, and I'm using Synchro which I use for my RMM, to connect in. So here's one of the things that I really like. In doing my investigation of how do I get rid of all the Mac mail, I asked her, do you use the mail client at all? No, she doesn't want to. She only wants to use the browser to get her email. So I said, great. Because I might ruin the Mac Mail client after I've done a whole bunch of research. There was no direct way to get rid of this. So the first thing I want to do is bring up the go-to folder. Now, I'm on a PC keyboard. So one of the things you need to know is that the Windows key on a PC keyboard is the same as the Command key. So I'm holding Windows Shift G, which is really Command Shift G. And that's bringing up a go-to. And you can see I've already typed it, ~library/mail. After digging and digging and digging, I am not a Mac Mail user. So I always use Outlook, as you can see that on my desktop here. I always just use Microsoft Outlook. So what I'm going to do is click to go to this folder. And of course, you got to be an administrator. Okay. So I'm going to hit enter. And that brings you right up to where the mail's stored. Now, this is version 9 for Monterey for the included Mac Mail. I open that up for my client and I highlighted all of these files and right-clicked and moved it to the trash. Now, I'm not going to do that because I actually use this for my Gmail a little bit. So only when I'm on the Mac, and I'm usually never getting mail on my Mac. But when I started deleting that, it went pretty quick. But now you got to empty the trash can. And that's where, when I right-clicked to empty trash for the trash can, because it's still taking the space, so this way you can undelete it, it started deleting everything. There are so many detailed mail messages. There were millions. Because I hung in there for the first million. Yeah, when I say that, it was like 45 minutes, and we had only knocked out like 30% of that 88 gig. That took a few hours. I didn't have to hang on there for the whole few hours, but it got all of her space back. I know there's Mac purists out there, and please email me that if you know of an easier way to have gotten rid of everything. I tried the tricks of getting rid of the attachments, getting rid of the junk, now I didn't want to open the client to do any of the deletes because it might sync to online and start deleting because it's using IMAP, and I don't want to sync this. I just want to remove it from the one machine to get space back. So very cool, and I wanted to demonstrate that works. So let me disconnect here. I got to pause and get something for a second. Okay, I'm back. So, testing. Oh, here we go. Hold on. I screwed up the recording on Audacity. There we go. Testing. Okay. I'll have to edit that. So what I wanted to get was, I found this on Amazon, and I'll have a link. Of course, I don't get credit for it. It is a little adapter for my MacBook. Now, I described one that it took up two of the USB-C ports in order to get expanded ports for your MacBook, to get some USB 3 and to get an SD card, even though there's already one in there. Well, this is a lot more clever. It only takes one of the USB-Cs and a pass-through jack for the audio. When I put this in, I still have access to charging my MacBook and the second USB-C port on the left-hand side. So this was under $20, and I get 3 USB 3 ports, and I'm still preserving some more ports. So this was way better than the first one I had gotten a few months ago when I bought my MacBook Pro, the 14-inch, in December. So once I seen this and ordered it, and it took a few extra days to get here, and once I got it and popped it in, and that was one of the things I was impressed by, was how few ports it took in order to do this little expansion. So I wanted to share that with all of you. Okay, let's keep going. Now, let's see. Okay. Oh, by the way, something else on the MacBook or any Mac. The Windows key for the Option key is the Alt key. So you have Command and Option, which are just for the Mac keyboard, and Command is the Windows key, Option is the Alt key when you're using a Windows keyboard. All right. So let's talk about Netflix hacks. Here's the article for 4 game-changing, I don't know about game-changing, but Netflix hacks that no one knows about, including the hidden menu. Yeah. So kind of cool. And I'm going to try to get this displayed here. So let me do that and I'll discuss it. So these Netflix hacks, the first one is to stop autoplay. Let's say you're watching a series and you fall asleep and you nod off and it just continues. I actually like that feature where it just keeps going and it just saves less clicks. But how do you know where you left off at? You know, it takes a little bit of time. Anyway, there's a way to turn that off. So that's pretty cool. Now, what we're going to do is, the video quality is set to auto by default. Now, you can force it by going into your account on the browser, go to settings, and you can force it into HD. Now, remember, you only get 4K available if you have your Netflix premium account. Now, that costs like $17 a month. I only pay $5 through T-Mobile, and I'm so glad T-Mobile allows this. With T-Mobile, you get free Netflix. But for paying only $5 a month, I get 4 simultaneous connections, even though it's just my wife and I also get automatically 4K available. So you have to have the premium. Now, to find the secret menu, I have the codes here, and to cut to the chase, there is another site that I'm going to add that will give you the list. It seems like if you enter the netflix.com/browse/genre/ and a code, and the list of all of the codes I have a link for, it'll bring up, let's say, classic comedies. You enter that, you're going to get classic comedies that you would normally not get in just browsing Netflix. Now, I don't know why they hide these, but there's the hidden menus for doing it on the PC, and then also it's if you do it on the console, and what you have to do with your controller: up, up, down, down, left, right, up, 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 up. Boy, it sounds like a video game, a cheat code, and I just think that's kind of funny. So, give that a try. If you're a Netflix person like me, you definitely want to try all that out. All right. A scary link that this is to the YouTube, and it's to the last episode of John Oliver's Last Week Tonight. It's about data brokers. And this is scary because however you thought your data was being used, let me tell you, it's way, way, way worse. And you need to hear this. And it's kind of funny what he does to people in Congress at the end of this to try to get something passed. It's very good. So I have a link. You have to check it out. It's like 25 minutes, and you definitely want to hear this main story. And they mention, he goes over, things like Brave and DuckDuckGo browsers, but he just blows over that so quickly. So I wanted to reinforce this tonight. In order to stop it's really the third-party tracking cookies that are bad. And what I wanted to remind everybody is one of the things I like about Super Anti-Spyware is that it removes tracking cookies. And I don't want the premium. I think there's still a portable version, but Super Anti-Spyware installs itself, locks itself in. You can successfully uninstall it. And any time that we're using Super Anti-Spyware for a client, we automatically uninstall it. We do not leave it around, because one of the things they do, and this is really horrible, they pop up a little screen saying, would you like cheap tech support? Hey, call us. We're only like $10 an hour or something. It's really horrible. And so they're competing with us. But they do something really well, which is getting rid of the cookies. Yes, they find some other things too, but take a look at this, especially for removing all the tracking cookies. And you could do this for your client, and it'll take a few minutes and clears everything up. Love DuckDuckGo, something I have not tried, but DuckDuckGo has their own browser. So definitely take a look at that. Now, I've added to my Firefox and my Chrome. So it's private searching, site encryption, and tracker blocking. Very important to use DuckDuckGo. And of course, one of the best, it's like a reincarnation of Chrome. It's called Brave. And I highly recommend using that as your main browser. And then DuckDuckGo as the search engine. Okay. So let me get back on track here. All right. I want to make sure I went over everything there. I did. Now, let's see if we can get to some email here. So this is from Oscar, and he writes, "Hi, Mike. At some point in the past, I signed up for the Windows Insider program. Now I am getting Windows 11 preview forced in my updates. I do not want Windows 11. I want to stay in the Windows 10, but I can't leave the Insider program. It won't let me. It tells me my only choice is not the one. It says my only email is not the one registered. I keep reading. I must reinstall Windows, and I can do this and keep my apps and programs, but I need to confirm. Does this mean I would keep my browser's settings and passwords? I don't know. Settings from my Excel, Word. I don't know. Your Outlook settings and scripts. Guess what? You are listing all the things that Fab's Auto Backup Pro does. All of what's inside documents and downloads and NVIDIA video card settings. Oscar, I would not trust Windows keeping the things that you want. I recommend getting an external drive, buying like the one license of Fab's Auto Backup. You're not going to be doing multiple systems, and you can just get the single license. The link is in my show notes. And as a matter of fact, in May, they're changing the affiliate links. I was notified. So my affiliate link's going to change from the one it is now. But since it's April, use the regular link. And what you want to do is run Fabs and let it transfer all of these things back to the external drive. Now, don't just let it reinstall using that option. I want you to blow away the hard drive once you've confirmed all your settings and everything's backed up, and do Windows 10 from scratch. You don't need your license key or anything. It'll automatically, it will activate once you're on the internet. So make sure you got all your drivers that you need to. But I would do it from scratch. I wouldn't even mess with just redoing within itself. Let's do this clean. And since you got everything backed up, now remember, this is not a full backup program. It goes in and it actually copies all of your settings and passwords from all your browsers. So all you have to do is, after Windows is installed, go install all your software. Install your browsers. Go to 99.com, download everything you need, put Office back on the same version. So this way Outlook's already on. Now go back and restore from Fabs. You're good to go. All right. This is from Avram, and he writes, what is the correct method to image multiple computers manually? Since I am not using Active Directory, I cannot push images directly from the server. When I sysprep the image, then I have to go through OOBE again. Would the best thing to do is have an unattended XML included as described here, and he has a link, or is there a better way of manually deploying images? I use Acronis when I'm in that situation where I've done a master image, saved it either on a Synology or somewhere on the network, and then just restore everything. There used to be a project. I have to look up the name. This always happens when this comes up, and I can't think of the project name. But when I do, I'll email you, and I will put it in the show notes. But it's a Linux distribution that specifically allows you to stage images and push them on a Pixie boot. And your system has to be able to, if there's no operating system, it can boot from the network. It looks for a Pixie server, that's PXE, and it will find the image and it'll start deploying it. That is very, very cool. So depending on how many systems you have, you might want to look into that. All right. I would like all my IT people that do this on a regular basis, what do you recommend for doing the multiple images? This is from Kurt. Kurt writes me an email following up on his recommendations for hosting and the $10 a month hosting that he has with A2 hosting, and his backdrop CMS, which has Drupal and things that better than WordPress. And what else? He prefers to use Google over other services. Here's the problem. The reason I have to use SureWeb or Microsoft is it has to be Exchange. And it has to be Exchange hosted for my clients. For all my business clients. There's no ifs, ands, or buts here. So Google is not an option. And I can't tell you how many people from the Google Workplace has migrated to Exchange hosted. Have no choice. They need email that is reliable and Exchange Active Sync for syncing everything across all their devices. He also recommends, and a listener recommended this a while back, and it bears mentioning again, let'sencrypt.org. They offer free SSL certificates. You just got to configure them and get them all done. So that's something you might want to take a look at. let'sencrypt.org. And let's see. He sent me the code. I have to check it out. For flipping when someone types HTTP and not HTTPS, but changing the, where you do this in the, what's the file? Hold on. In the .ht access file. And I used to have test domains. I don't have them anymore, but I have to back up that file and then take a look. He gave me some code to try, so I am going to look into that, Kurt. Thank you so much. This is from Bob. I know during the last couple of podcasts you have talked about utilities to help remove bloatware from Windows systems. This has been very timely because I have started to roll out Windows 11 systems, and before I go much further, I need to resolve a few issues. You would think in this day and age that Microsoft would have a utility to allow businesses and schools to configure their systems without all the crap they continue to add to the OS. This is the startup screen with the pinned apps that each user gets the first time they log into our environment. We don't need 90% of this. And if I go through and uninstall all this stuff for the user, the next ones that logs in, Windows creates it all over again in their profile. That is correct. I have tried different bloatware programs, decrapifiers, and PowerShell scripts with limited success. The problem is that it is difficult to make it stable and not break things. Then when they push out an update, you are right back at it again. I like O&O App Buster, which so far for me works the best as far as removing programs from the computer, but it doesn't remove the pinned apps from the start menu and taskbar for all users. I even tried one you mentioned on the last podcast. He has the link, but it really didn't do what I wanted. I selected the remove all the bloatware option, and it did do it, but only for the local user that I was running on. When I logged into the computer as another user, everything was back for this new user. Right now, I am again working with PowerShell scripts to build a script that will remove exactly what I want removed from the provisioned apps. I need to be able to set up the pinned apps in both the startup and the taskbar. Back with Windows 7, you used to be able to log in as a user and configure the user profile the way you want it. Then you could select that profile and copy it and save it as the default profile. That way, whenever a new user logged into the system, they would always get the exact same desktop configured the way you wanted all the users to have. Take care and stay safe. If anybody has more suggestions for Bob, I would absolutely appreciate that. That would be great because we could all get a better way of deploying a new profile. And it's really all of the apps you have as a default. When you install an app, and I always want this for every user on the system because that's an app that every user is going to want, as opposed to only installing it for the single user that you're logged in as. And it really depends on the organization, who else is going to be using that system. What if someone replaces that person and they want their own name and they want their, you got to set up a new profile. And of course, all the defaults are going to come back. So yes, I feel your pain, as I'm sure a lot of people listening, Bob, are feeling yours. And let's see, what can we do to help alleviate some of this pain? Corey, last show, made a great recommendation for an alternative to Aruba and Ubiquity. And it's, he recommended Ingenious, and we looked at that and the models, and my client picked, what is it? Arrow something. I have to look it up. I should have wrote the name down. But we picked a different access point. As a matter of fact, they've already been delivered. So they're cheaper than the Aruba, and they're going to work as well. We're going to hopefully, knock wood, we're going to be starting to set them up very, very soon for the one project that I was talking about last week. All the desktops have been delivered, and all the switches, we're just waiting on the server. All right. So that is it for tonight's show. I want to thank everybody for downloading and staying subscribed. Don't forget to head over to YouTube and subscribe. Michael Smith, MTS. Please subscribe to the show. And then also, Instant House Call, if you are an MSP or an IT professional. Magnus Box for your backups. And don't forget, Fabs Auto Backup Pro. And you know what? For the user who wanted the solution, you may not need the Pro version. I'm not sure, since you're not going to be using it on multiple systems and trying multiple things, you may not have to get the Pro version. So I'm not sure. I've never used anything but the Pro version. So check it out. And if you got any questions, send an email to Fabrice, the owner. He will gladly answer any questions that you have. So that is it. You know, Crocodile in the chat. Could you maintain one clean version of Windows, then image it to other systems? You can, and which goes with one of the questions from tonight. You need that quick way to deploy it. So images can come down pretty quick. If you got the bandwidth and if you got the CPU power and the RAM, man, it shouldn't be too hard to redo a system. I remember assisting a library where on every reboot, it re-imaged the system. It only took a couple minutes. And it was a fresh system. If you reboot, bang, everything was lost that was ever there as a cookie or a temp file or something, just completely blown away on a reboot. So there's got to be, easier ways to deploy. Fog Project, that's it. Numo, thank you. The Fog Project, that's the project for doing the Pixie hosting, we call it Pixie because it's PXE, but hosting images. And you should be able to do that with an inexpensive machine with just plenty of storage for the Linux distribution of the Fog Project. I'll make sure to have that in the show notes. So thank you. I love doing this live for these exact reasons, for just some extra questions and extra follow-up. That he just saved me a lot of time. So thank you. That's it, everybody. Have a great week. Happy Easter to anybody to anybody celebrating Easter. Have a great holiday weekend, and hope you have a great, happy Easter Sunday with your loved ones. That's it. See everybody next Thursday night, same time, same channel. Well, maybe back at the regular time and not so early like I am right now. Bye-bye.